Hello, and welcome to today's episode of Demystify Selling with Microsoft. And I am joined by a longtime friend, Jaimie Fox. Jaimie, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Rob.
Yeah, I'm very excited, Jaimie. But before we start, in case somebody doesn't know Jaimie, can you give us a bit of background on your role at Microsoft, a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. So I just finished my 17-year anniversary with Microsoft. Within that time, I did leave for 14 months. So I started 17 years ago, November 2007. I've been a consultant at Microsoft. We used to have consulting services, Microsoft
Yeah.
Consulting Services. I was at what's called a TSP, which is pretty much analogous to a pre-sales engineer. And then I moved into a role called Account Technology Strategist, which is what I've been doing ever since 2012 at Microsoft. And what that role is, as the name implies, is I'm responsible for the technology strategy of the customers I cover. There's two parts to the Microsoft sales team. There's one that's more account focused and the other one that's more specialty focused. So I'm on the account side. I get teamed with an account executive who handles more of the commercial aspects of the relationship between us, Microsoft, and our customers. And I'm more the technical, almost like the CTO of the account. And then we have a bunch of overlay specialists for each one of our areas of specialty.
Like a modern work specialist or an
Absolutely.
Azure specialist.
Actually, there's multiple. We even subdivide Azure
Azure,
into
yeah.
infrastructure, data, and applications. So yes,
Yeah, it would be a rare bird that could cover all that Azure platform.
absolutely.
Yeah. Just to clarify, one other point, Jamie, is what group do you sit inside? Like Microsoft is segmented also on SMC, enterprise, federal, the different groups.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So maybe you could just chat about that for a moment.
Sure. I'm in the enterprise healthcare group. So,
Great, great.
SMC is usually a segment based on size. And then when you get to the enterprise level and above, they're segmented by industries. So, we have the public sector industries like federal, EDU, public sec. And then on the more commercial side, we have healthcare, financial services, manufacturing, et cetera. And I'm in healthcare.
Great, great. So, yeah, you're dealing with some very large healthcare institutions, then would be my assumption, and that you're probably dealing with a smaller subset of customers than, say, an SMC specialist might deal with because you've got these larger accounts.
So for nearly 9.5 years, I had one customer, Allscripts. I'm very proud of the work we've done there. They're now called
Great.
Veradigm, and the sub segment I'm in is called MedTech. So it's really companies that go to market with technology to hospitals, providers, insurance companies. So I don't sell directly to a hospital or say an insurance company. I'm selling to a company that therefore makes something that they bring to market. And that's where it gets really exciting for me. And that's where I get really my interest in partnership, is because most of my customers are partners or act like partners. Right now, I'm currently covering 4 customers, although I don't cover all scripts anymore. But still, we help them go to market leveraging Microsoft technology.
That's great. That's really interesting. I love the analogy you made there that, they act like partners because I know you've been a big proponent of the partner ecosystem, and I imagine you still work closely with the Microsoft ecosystem then, or the Microsoft set of partners. Is that still hold true today?
Absolutely. Yeah. Not as much of an official capacity. I still mentor a lot of partners, especially here locally in the New York area. I just spoke at a partner event last week. So, yeah, I'm always helping. And then I'm also thinking about my immediate responsibility to my customers.
Mhm.
Are there ways that we can partner better with my immediate customers?
That's great. And maybe with you could dive in here and we could talk a little bit about what makes a great Microsoft partner because whether it's in your new role or sort of historically, you've worked with a lot of partners and you can share with me sort of your perspective on what makes a great Microsoft partner. How do you add value to you as the Microsoft field team? I'd really love to get your perspective on that, Jamie.
Absolutely, right. Yeah, I think, it comes down to what the word partner means, right? Which is a bilateral relationship. So I think having a very good bilateral relationship is important. And what I mean by that is that you offer Microsoft something. So I've come up with my own what can a partner offer Microsoft? I used to call it the 3 R's. I know, Rob, you knew this also, right? You
Yeah.
either can offer Microsoft relationships,
Yeah.
revenue, or relevance, right? And what I mean by that is you know, relationships. Maybe you know people at an enterprise account we don't, just because of our specialty versus your specialty as a partner. So even bringing new people to the fold for us is very valuable to us. The other is revenue. Help us sell stuff. That's at the end of the day what we're all here for. And you'll hear this from the Microsoft partner team over and over, how important it is that our partners are a channel of revenue, and that our partners need to sort of act as if they are that channel of revenue as well for us. And when in kind, we work with you to help you build your revenue and your relationships and at the customers. And last is relevance. I have this saying that Microsoft builds the Legos, but the partners build the house, right?
Yeah.
We're a platform company first and foremost. So we don't always sell first party, and we don't always sell, finished products. We sell the platform for others to build on. So, in the instance of saying, even in healthcare, Microsoft does not have a very deep portfolio of products we sell to healthcare specifically, or any industry. We
Yeah.
sell a platform, and some of the platforms are a little bit more specialized in certain areas of industry. And then we have our partners we rely on to build very relevant solutions within those industries.
Yeah, which I think is where we see the rise in marketplace and the rise in the ISV community starting to lean into just what you're talking about there is those very specific problems that they're solving for. So I love that.
And Microsoft also can't scale to solve every problem in the world, right? That's the other
Right.
thing, that Microsoft has over 10,000 partners, and it helps. It's a really good scale model and scale play for Microsoft. We can't be everywhere all the time.
Yeah, no, I love that. And that actually brings me to another point, and it goes back to your first R in the
Mhm.
relationships. So, I'd love to hear from you the kind of value add things partners do. Like, is it important for you to have a partner community that's out there promoting, the platform or the capabilities of the Microsoft platform, whether that be through in events or webinars? Do you find that as useful or beneficial to you as a Microsoft field person?
Absolutely. I'm glad you brought that up, because I do tell a lot of partners that we would love to sponsor. And I personally, me, Jamie, love sponsoring partner events, because it does, get a lot of exposure to customers. At the end of the day, that's what I think we all want, is exposure to customers. And let's be honest, them to buy stuff, right?
Right?
So,
True.
what can we do to help each other to those ends? I'm a very direct New Yorker, so,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
sugarcoating that. But how do we get more exposure to customers, and how do we, even if we are at a large enterprise, right? Large enterprises have thousands of employees in different areas. I could give you a good example of one of my customers, and I'm working with Ernst & Young. Ernst & Young is very, very deep in finance at this customer, and is one of their advisory sells advisory services into finance. Now, Microsoft, we don't do finance per se all the time,
Mhm.
but we know that, this is a perfect example of what I'm saying. We do a lot of interesting AI that could help finance. So we're working with Ernst & Young at our customer. So Ernst & Young is being more of the advisor into finance, and we're doing more of the platform of the AI into finance. Again, it wouldn't be a natural fit for Microsoft to sell to a tax department of a Fortune 500 company.
Right. Well, I think that brings up, is it Judson that says the rooms of the house?
The
And,
rooms of the house, right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
actually, the extended analogy is, when you start working with partners, you're going to other people's houses,
yeah.
right? Because the partner is going to get you to other people's houses also. So not only is it the rooms of the house of your own customer, but through partnership, I can get into other people's houses.
Yeah, and that's so important. I think that's something that partners need to recognize is the value that brings when you can introduce Microsoft to other rooms of the house. It's just highlights how important those three R's are that you talk about.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
And so pivoting over to revenue,
Hmm.
this is a big thing that one of the things I hear from partners is, well, how do I get leads from Microsoft? And I'm like, it's super easy. Just bring deals to Microsoft and do that
Yeah.
over and over again. And so I'd love to hear your take on that, in terms of, you know, give to get or just expect to get.
Well, it's definitely give to get, right? Again, I said the first thing I said is it's a partnership, right?
Yeah.
And like any other partnership or any relationship you have in life is, how are you going to be top of mind to a person if that's what you want, right?
Mhm.
So keep in mind, in my role, I'll be very honest, I get probably 20 to 30 solicitations a week from partners.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we all do. Every Microsoft seller does. Every one of our customers do. So I always tell partners, what do you do? Even when I meet a partner, what do you do different? I know another 10 guys that do the same thing you do.
Yeah.
What's unique about you, right? So I think that's a good way for partners to think of themselves. What do we do that's really going to add value that makes us also unique? Um, Sometimes it's just, again, like you said, having the repetitions of success. I think that's the number one way to really get the consciousness into the consciousness of the Microsoft sellers is, hey, we've already done this at your customer, right? And it can't be, oh, we did this at another customer. And I've had partners say, you know, we have a great portfolio of business in Germany. And I'm like, okay, but my customers aren't international and they all deal in the United States, right?
Right. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
make it relevant to me also, right? So I
Yeah.
think having those things, and sometimes it's, and I'll give the partner community here an easy one to help with. Sometimes it's just pure cold calling for us. Help us sell, right? You
Right.
don't have to come in and say you've, solved the world's problems and sold a gazillion dollars of Azure. Sometimes it's, hey, we've been trying to get into this customer and we're just not getting the traction. And I know you have better traction than we do. So can we put our efforts together and go after it together? I think that is a very easiest way for partners to get engaged. And that's a call I will take all the time. If a partner calls me and says, I've already tried and we're either stuck or I have a call later today, we are trying to make a progress, and today's December 10th, we're recording. They need to get the deal done in 20 days. Hey, Microsoft, Jaimie, what can we do to make sure that my deal gets in before the end of the year? I mean,
Right.
I'll drop everything for that call.
You and I both, my friend. You and
Right.
I both. No, I love that. I love that. And we're coming to the end of our time, Jamie. But there is one more question I wanted to talk through. Is that I've been in the Microsoft ecosystem a long time, both as an individual contributor and as an owner, and
Mhm.
I've sold services on behalf of Microsoft and supporting the Microsoft ecosystem, but I approached it from more of a horizontal sales motion, crossing a number of industries versus, some partners go at it very specific. And I'd love to get your thoughts around the discussion about what's better or what's different in that arena of how you approach a market.
So it's a good question, Rob. Kind of the horizontal versus vertical kind of point of
Mhm.
view, right? Sometimes the verticalization definitely gives Microsoft more relevance in an industry.
Yeah,
Again, going back to the Legos in the house, right? We're not going to make a lot of, say, healthcare devices, but our partners will, right? So we get a lot of relevancy there. However, the other side is what I've noticed is the more horizontally oriented solutions, the more solutions that anyone could use is really where the most traction happens, such as say a Commvault, a Quest software, Citrix, everyone needs it, big market, small market, and
yeah,
we get a lot more traction overall. Those are normally bigger deals also because those partners do consume a lot more Azure than,
yeah,
say you have a medical device and I'm just going to make it up, a stethoscope, right? If you have a smart stethoscope, how much Azure can that possibly consume? I
right,
even have one customer that has a smart knee implant. They actually implant a device into your knee that um, measures your stride.
yeah,
And, it's a great thing, great advancement of science. But,
hmm
again, when it comes down to some of the commercial aspects, it's maybe not the strongest for Microsoft. So, some of those more horizontal solutions that can be sold to everyone that is very technically intensive, those
hmm
usually also help us out.
Yeah, so what I'm hearing you say really is that just understand if I bring a solution to the table, understand how it impacts the Microsoft sort of ecosystem, how it impacts the
Absolutely.
Microsoft seller in terms of, you know, don't bring a modern work seller an Azure deal and vice
Oh,
versa. Don't
absolutely.
bring a
Right.
yeah,
And I
so
will say this, and I do go to partners when they come with stuff. I ask, how much Azure does your solution drive? Come with those specific metrics. That's what I
yeah,
get paid for. That's how I'm managed as from Microsoft by my leadership. So that's
yeah.
what we kind of expect also from partners is, help us understand your metrics and how your metrics play into our metrics.
Yeah, I love that. Again, it's really understanding how we can help each other. And,
Hmm.
I, as the partner, need to understand what you can bring to the table and what I can bring to the table for you, and vice versa. You, as the Microsoft person, want to know from me, how am I relevant? How am I different? So I think that's the one thing I'm taking away from
Absolutely.
our call today, Jamie.
Absolutely. No.
Great. Well, Jamie, as always, I really appreciate getting some time with you. You always have some great insights. If anyone wants to get a hold of you, is it fair to say LinkedIn is the best place to reach out?
Absolutely. LinkedIn. You could see my name. And my new joke is you can't spell Jamie without AI. So, use that as a way to remember how to spell my name.
Love that, Jamie. Love
Or
that.
two
Well,
eyes like my face. I have a ton of them.
that's great. Well, again, Jamie, thank you for taking time. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to the next time we get together.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Take care.